Hello and welcome to the Team Bus. This is a companion podcast to Beyond the Slipstream, our main show. I'm Matt. I'm here with my brother Justin, and today we are going to start off by getting into some talk about the Tour of the Alps, which concluded a couple of days ago. Um, this is the big race happening this week that we did not have time to get into on the main show. Nonetheless, some notable racing. Um, let's get into it. Big win for a team on the come up, Tudor Pro Cycling, in the form of Michael Storer. Super impressive, this guy throughout this race. Uh, what are your thoughts?
I think that whole team raced really well. I think that they knew exactly what to do, and even though there was like some definite drama, like you know, on the second to last day, uh, the way they were able to come back and finally finish it off, really spoke a lot to, I think, a team that is really starting to gel, and I think you can expect big things from them coming up. Obviously, with the pickup of Al Philippe in the off season, I think it's a really, really cool. But man, that kid just looked so strong in so many spots throughout the week. And that race is just grueling. I mean, there's just so much climbing.
Yeah, yeah, so much climbing. Also, let's just say, as we always do, so gorgeous. Oh my God, some of the vistas. They'd be like, 3/4 of the way up a mountain, and there'd be a tiny little town with like an amazing church with some massive tower and an onion dome on top of it, just
Yeah, yeah.
silhouetted by the, snow-capped mountains in the background. I mean, it is so stunning. Like, just so cool that's your field. Like that's just one of the things I just love about pro cycling. It's like the ball field is the most beautiful landscape on the planet.
Oh, I mean,
It's,
we've talked about it, multiple weeks now. The beauty of these races and the way that it's one of those like I believe like kind of races that's kind of been combined and like or it was a couple of races that have been kind of like made into one now, and it stretches across just such a beautiful amount of terrain, and you just get so much from between the architecture and the natural beauty. It's so much fun to watch these races unfold, and how they design the parkour, and what they choose. And especially like there's a lot of like iconic things in the Tour de France. There's a lot of things that you've seen before. It just seems so fresh when you're watching a race like this, because it seems like some of these climbs and some of these views are just so unique, and it was a really beautiful race.
yeah, absolutely stunning. I'm looking at Julian Alaphilippe's upcoming participations on PCS, and all they're showing is Ashbourne Frankfurt, which starts later this week. Um, so I don't know if he's headed towards the Giro with Storer, but I have to believe that like is Storer their guy for the Giro.
I would have to imagine.
Um, it bodes well, this very strong win, because Arnsman, as we'll get into, put in the performance of his career on that fourth stage, um, and Storer just took it in stride and came back and did what he had to do to just yank it right back.
Yeah, I mean,
And there was,
he definitely put it away, but I mean, Simon's run that day just so strong, just out there, on his own, and just you know I know he's a good rider. He's obviously been, with that core group around G for a long time. But man, like, I did not expect that out of him that day. And just, man, the fact that he, came within an arm's length of winning the whole thing was just pretty crazy.
yeah, that was awesome. I was just thrilled to see that guy get a win. I know G is a big fan of his. Always speaks well of him, and it was great. You gotta love like opening up uh, your career wallet with a giant solo breakaway where you just like look totally like magisterial. You know, nobody was going to touch that guy that day. Let's rewind though back to stage one. We saw a sprint reduced bunch sprint win from Giulio Ciccone, and he does his signature glasses throw. This is a celebration that I will go on record as a huge fan of this. Like
You just
he
want to you just want to get those glasses.
I do. I would love to scoop up a pair of Giulio Ciccone glasses. That would be amazing. There's one lucky fan that gets that every time that guy wins. And UCI, why are you finding this? Like, why? Come on, this is not littering. Okay, this is a far cry from like tossing your water bottle in some desolate stretch of mountain that's going to be a eyesore sitting there in the in nature for the next
It
3 years. No,
like the inconsistency with what the UCI does with between the yellow cards, the fines, and the relegations. It's just like, can they get anything right?
it's a hot mess. Is an absolute hot
It's
mess when it
just
comes to their like
ridiculous, dude.
rule enforcement. I don't know. Maybe they're good at a lot of the other parts of the UCI that aren't so in our face. But good lord, it seems like they bungle every damn call they're asked to make.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ugh.
And it's just like it's one of these things where it's like just don't get involved. Who cares? Like,
I w- I will say this though. I stand where I stand. I don't. This is not to negate anything that I just said. But did you happen to catch the side on finishing line shot? I don't know. I don't feel like it was the photo finish shot because it was a wider shot and it was like from above, and the
mhm.
photo was like from the side. Um, but did you see the shot? Like when they came through, there was like an from on high shot down as they horizontally crossed
No, I
the
didn't.
finish
I
line.
didn't. I mean, I
Well,
don't
and that's like
remember it.
and that's right where he's launching the glasses. They're actually like right there at the apparatus that
Right.
where the
I know what
finish
you're
line
talking
is.
about.
There there kind of was nobody standing there, so there's a good chance that those glasses just like landed in a big old open patch of asphalt back beside a building. I'm sure there was a mad scramble for people running to pick them up, but it was kind of empty right there where he threw them. So who knows? They
So
could have.
again, it just makes no sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, it is what it is. How about also on stage one? Um, was that that's the stage where where like the camera just like the camera feed just stopped working, so you just had like the
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Like, yeah, that
Yeah.
that's not the UCI bungling. That's
No,
the
no,
race
no, no, no.
organization bungling, but that's the worst. And then poor old Rob Hatch is just droning on and on and on with nothing to talk about.
I love the fact that we got Rob Hatch and Adam Blythe. I dig this combo of
Mhm,
the two of
mhm.
them. I really like them together.
Um, Although I believe there was one stage where it was a different dude.
Yes, it
Adam
was not
Blythe
Adam
wasn't
Blythe.
there.
Correct.
Yeah, I did not make a note of who that guy was, but I liked his stuff. Um, so what else stood out? Storer got the win on stage two in that sweet, like rad lime green leaders
Hmm.
jersey in
Hmm.
this race. Um,
What is
Marco Frigo.
so I must have missed this great shot coming out of second story window to look at the plaza with the mountains behind.
Yeah, it was part of the, like the produced package, I
Ah,
think.
okay, okay.
So I think there's two different pieces of produced package in the beginning. There's like the main one that's for the whole race, which was so good, by the way. This
Hmm.
this one it ended with this amazing shot of a mountain, and it had some really cool slogan. Um, they show that at the very beginning of each stage. It's the same exact thing every day. produced before the race even starts. But then there's like another like produced piece that's just kind of the recap of the day before, um, but with like much higher production values than your regular sort of yesterday's recap. Um, and it was in that there was this great shot, like the camera was just like back in a hotel room, and you see there's a window, and it like comes out the window, and it like you see this whole plaza, and it
That's
was
wild.
really nice. Yeah, and it's like it comes out, it's looking down at the plaza, and then it tilts up, and then you see that this village where you're at, and the plaza is gorgeous. It's like
Oh
beautiful. I
yeah.
mean, it looks like you're Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, or something. I mean, it is so like obscenely authentic. And then they tilt the camera up, and you're like, oh yeah. And there's the most gorgeous mountains in the world behind it. So it's crazy. Um,
That's
yeah.
what
All
I
right. So we
mean.
got a
That's
win
it's
by.
like it didn't matter. It like doesn't at every turn, every town you go through, it's beautiful and picturesque in every possible way.
Absolutely love it. Um,
Huge win
Frigo
for
wins on stage three for
yes,
IPT.
huge win for that team. Huge win.
And did you notice Derek G as Frigo came across the finish line? G was behind him with a giant smile on his face, and he like threw his fist up in the air or something like that. And there was like 10 dudes around him, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, if memory serves, like Caden Groves got nailed for something like this for celebrating for Jasper in some
Hmm.
race earlier this season, and they threw a big fine at him. He got a yellow card for endangering other riders. I didn't hear a peep out of anyone about Derek G throwing his hand up. What are your thoughts?
That's what I said earlier. It's the inconsistency of how this is. I think it depends. At this point, I think it depends on the race, how much coverage there is, and obviously, with kind of two huge races in 7 days in the Ardennes, and La Flèche Wallonne going along with. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, three big races going on. So two major races in a monument. I feel like it's like the Tour of the Alps is like a secondary thought to the national media, and when it's a bigger race where everybody or international media I should really say, when it's a bigger race, the UCI is more apt to throw these things around. That's why I say it's the inconsistency is annoying. It's like you 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 do it to this guy for absolutely no reason, then you don't do it to this guy for like, how is it fair? How can you look back and go like, why does this guy get a yellow card and this guy doesn't get a yellow card? It's the literal exact same thing. And a couple of days ago, or maybe a week or two ago, there was some other race where even the commenter commented like, "Ooh, I wonder if so and so was because somebody was like rooting for their team, or their teammate who won. And they literally made the comment of, I wonder if we'll see anything come from this person celebrating. I wish I could remember who it was, but again, nothing happens there either. So it's, I don't know, man. And it's like, I wonder if it's got more to do with if you're a high profile racer. I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because, like, you know, what's his name? Peepo got totally effed over. He's pretty damn high
Yeah,
profile.
I don't know.
Um,
Well, no, that's what I mean.
I feel like in the
I feel like those guys have a bigger target on their back.
hmm, interesting.
It'd be
Yeah,
interesting to go through.
Ciccone got fined, but then Derek G didn't. I don't know. Um,
Wouldn't it be interesting to go through and see throughout the male peloton who has gotten, you know, big, the
that would be cool.
fines,
I
the
would like to see that
relegations, and the yellow
spreadsheet,
cards?
the list of every rider, how many and all penalties and stuff that have been levied, and like going back a couple of years
How many of
with some
them
totals in there.
are bigger name riders versus smaller name riders?
Hmm. Hmm.
Be interesting.
Um, yeah, it's a project for somebody.
I'll put
And then
John on that. I bet he'd love that.
yeah, it'd be amazing. Put your AI assistant on that. It could probably do it a little faster than your son will.
That's true.
Um, um, What else to say about Timon Arnsman? What about Nicolas Prodhomme from Decathlon AG2R Le Mondial, who took the win on stage five? He was in a breakaway with
Wasn't
his
it? It was with
his
his
teammate.
teammate. Yeah.
Yeah, and the young guy, what's his name? Zexas, or he's got
Yeah.
The X in his name. Who's like the future star, as they would have you believe.
Yeah,
Um,
they were definitely playing up the like he's the new guy and he's the old guy angle,
the
throughout
show
the
of respect,
yeah.
like Prodome might not ever have a chance to get a win in his career. He's owed it. And but they do make a good point too. It's like that young guy. He could be looking for some serious help from that dude. Like in the next 2 years, as he gets his
Oh
career
yeah.
started, this like wily old veteran that's going to shepherd him into the big leagues. So tossing him that win with the thought that, yeah, I'm going to be getting some wins here in my career. I'm not worried about that. So you go ahead and take it. Um, seems pretty logical, pretty feasible.
Yeah. Um I mean good, you know what I mean, and there was definitely a sense of those with those two being out there that you wondered, coming in, because obviously they were having some discussions about it. You could see them talking about it, and it was interesting to see how it went down. You know what I mean? And very respectful. I think that's another thing that I really like about cycling in general is like there is a very high level of respect for the other racers. You know what I mean? You don't have a lot of like real assholes, so to speak.
Hmm. 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 Yeah, the sport itself is just rife with opportunities for riders, participants to display class, to make the right choice and do something that's classy and that is a nod to tradition. And another reason why we love it. All right, so overall, Michael Storer, Tudor Pro Cycling, get a big win. We're headed towards the Giro d'Italia in like less than 2 weeks, right? Something like
Yeah,
that, or
it's
two
like
weeks.
it's so getting
It's
close.
right around the corner here. And I really hope Alaphilippe is going because let's not forget he got a stage win last year in the Giro, one of my top five moments of the year. Um, so super excited to see the two of them in action at the Giro if that is happening. But according to Alaphilippe's PCS profile, it's the Giro is not on there. Maybe it should be. Maybe the team hasn't announced yet for
Yeah.
the race. Speaking of that, like I think it's strange how the team size at some of these races, like Tour of the Alps, is so varied. Like one of the teams had seven riders or something on it, but EF, Jayco, they both were rolling in there with like four riders. I'm just like, how can you even have a chance to? Are you even going to have a chance to compete with only when you're only starting with four guys against other teams that have seven, but maybe they don't have big goals.
Maybe it's a money thing, like just a a funding situation of you know it obviously will cost more to support more riders, and that's
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't know.
They keep it stripped down. They go down there with like a little skeleton crew, and hope they can snag something big. Get a big prize or mop up a few UCI points or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to figure too. It's like between Amstel, Flesh, and LBL this week. It's. I mean, teams are spread out. Those are, what I mean. There's a lot of resources going into those races, so I don't know. I figure it's got to be a budget thing. I mean that, or you had more racers and they just dropped. They didn't make it because of illness or condition or whatever. I don't know.
Right, right. All right. Well, let's put that to bed. And you want to get into your other topic down here?
Oh yeah. So obviously, as stated many times on this, this or both the podcasts, but I'm a huge hip hop fan. Ran across a in my Apple Music feed. I just had a suggestion for new music this week, and it was a Wu Tang Clan and Mathematics collaboration called Black Samson. The Bastard Swordsman. All right, just came out like very recently. So I was like,
Nice.
ooh, I'm a Wu Tang
Who is
mark.
Mathematics?
Producer and rapper. So I just I'm at work when I see it and I just click on it and fire it up and just listen to it end to end, and it gave me such like old Wu Tang vibes. I was in the groove with it. There's one thing that I really feel like the Wu Tang Clan has done very well over the past, really 30 years.
Hmm.
Um, and they have not ever really lost their edge. Um, their
No.
style, their cadence, it's all, stayed the same. And the things that made them great in the beginning, they have always kind of adhered to throughout the years. And so, um, you know, I'm listening to it, and again, this is first listen. It's passively, I'm in the groove with it. Like it's 1999. You know what I mean? I'm just like, man, I'm just digging this. And the second track, Mendingo, is just it is just classic Wu Tang Clan. It's so good. I'm trying to think who did they. Let me go to it real quick because they
Let me,
featured.
while you're
Sure.
looking that up, let me say that I listened to that record of the guy that was like kind of the outer ring of the Wu Tang Clan that you recommended on a show like
Silver Rings.
two, three, yeah, Silver Rings. I don't know. I was kind of whatever on that. It was all right, but
Oh, I
it will
like
be
that.
interesting to listen to this new Wu Tang thing. Having just listened to that, it's like two new things, in the from the same world coming at me. So
Yeah. Now
I'm
this
very
is
excited to
very
listen to
much
that.
where that is very much his thing with them. Part of it. This is very much their thing.
Yeah.
Mandingo is features Raekwon, Inspector Deck, Meth, and Capadonna. Capadonna is
Yes.
like
Like
just
all the guys on there.
Capadonna is one of my favorite rappers of all time. Definitely one of my favorite members of Wu Tang. As far as solo albums go, his initial solo album, The Pillage, is probably a top 10 hip hop album for me. It's
Nice.
so damn good. And he's one of those guys that wasn't like part of the original like rollout because he was in jail, and he got out of jail and just hit this home run with this solo record, and he has then now been just very very integrated for years and years and years with the main group of Wu Tang. And man, he is so good. And I'm just that song Mandingo just absolutely it's just so catchy. And then there's another one called I'm pretty sure it's Claudine. It's track 4. It's Method Man, Ghostface, and a singer named Nicole Buss. And I don't know who she is, but oh my god, she gives me Lauryn Hill vibes. Like I don't know, man. I'm like super into this. I've
Sweet.
listened to it a
Sweet.
couple of times this week, and I really really like the thing. So I
Hashtag soundtrack to my next bike ride. Let's move on real quick. I
absolutely.
want to just throw out a quick recommendation for a documentary that's making the rounds. It just came out. It's called Titanic: The Digital Resurrection. What this is a team of people went and sat on the Titanic wreck for a month or two with these two submersibles that had different kinds of photography and like mapping, analysis equipment. And they spent this time with both of these submersibles down there, just like scanning the holy hell out of the entire Titanic area. So, like, both halves of the ship plus the entire debris field. They scanned the shit out of it, and then they produced a digital. They call it the digital twin of the wreck of the Titanic. They got a warehouse and built a massive screen inside of it, the size of like a couple of a couple of IMAX screens, like this huge screen inside this warehouse, and then they project this image of the ship onto this thing, and they have these scientists, like the metallurgists and shipbuilding professionals, and this like group of experts that are like walking around this thing and looking at it, and the people running the production can manipulate it in whatever way they want, and they're able to look upon this shipwreck in ways that they've never been able to before, because if you're actually like looking at a video image, you can't illuminate the entire ship in one image. It's not possible because it's so dark 2 miles down in the bottom of the ocean. You can illuminate a small area right in front of you. Well, now you can look at this digital image, and you're looking at literally the entire front half of the ship, and you can see way off in the distance the back half of the ship, and you can see all this debris scattered around. It's stunning. It's wild. And they're already learning like stuff about the shipwreck that they never could tell before because they didn't have this kind of view.
I'm in. I want to find it immediately. It sounds so damn interesting.
Cool. It's cool. Yeah, it's out there. It's on something or other. You'll find it. The Titanic, the Digital Resurrection. That's about all the time we have. A pleasure potting with you this morning. Let's go watch the last 57 Ks of LBL. Looks like it's hotting up.
All right. Have a great weekend. Great week, everybody. We'll see you next time. Ale.
The Team Bus is part of the Beyond the Slipstream family and is produced by Harperama. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like, subscribe, leave a review, and tell your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!